Dragon Trail in Call of Dragons is one of the most underrated and one of the best modes in the game that can help you get tokens for legendary commanders such as Indus. It can help you accelerate your growth with getting more prestige so you can upgrade your policies and getting more XP overall. So stick around in this video because we're going to be going through the guide for the Dragon Trail, what's the easiest methods for you to push in it, and what my practices are that can potentially help you. What is up, guys? Meower here, back with a brand new Call of Dragons video. So today's video was requested by Gozip. I will leave the request right on your screen right now. If you want to request videos as well, feel free to join my Discord or comment in the comments down below, and I will do my best to fulfill your request and make the video if it's possible to be a good video. Anyway, guys, the Dragon Trail, as I said before, is one of the most important things in Call of Dragons. But if you want to find out more, be sure to like and subscribe because I'll be posting far more guides for S1 Plus and other gameplay mechanics, and maybe even cover some lore videos if you guys are interested in it, because the lore in Call of Dragons is pretty big and it is quite fun, assuming you don't get bored with the skip dialogue function. That being said, let's get started in the Dragon Trail. So, what is the Dragon Trail? The Dragon Trail is a special mode where you don't really lose any troops. After you're clearing a main stage, we're gonna go through the rules and then we're gonna tell you a good summary for it. After clearing a main stage, you receive 1 to 3 star rating along with the corresponding loot bonuses. So there are 3 missions in every stage. In order to get 3 stars, you have to fulfill all 3 of those missions correctly so you can receive the full 3 star rating. You'll receive rewards for the main stage for clearing for the first time. Now, when you receive rewards for clearing a main stage, you don't need to 3 star it in order to receive the full rewards of the main stage clear for the first time. So do keep that in mind when you are rushing the Dragon Trail. In the main stages, you'll use your own heroes and combat effects, combat units and buff effects, but in side stages, which are only present in Season 1 Dragon Trail, which are pretty much introductory, you are gonna able to use only the preset heroes, combat units, and buff effects. For number 4, the higher loot your bonus, the higher loot bonus, the longer your waiting time, and the greater amount of loot you can receive. Loot you can accumulate for up to 24 hours. So remember to claim it every single day, at least 2 to 3 times a day, if you are not as active. Quick loot. To gain 2 hours worth of collected loot. Dragon Trail, feel free to allocate your legions as you please, as they will not die or have their numbers reduced. So essentially, it's a type of a sandbox, but it needs your pre-existing troops and your pre-existing commanders in order to fully utilize. Um, the trail store and quick loot item are refreshed at reset every single day. And the dragon glass can be used at the tavern to trade store to buy various hero tokens. So, what are the quick loots and the loots that you can expect to receive from the Dragon Trail? First of all, you can get XP. Dragon Trail is one of the best XP sources in the early game and even the mid game and even later on in the game because it's passive. You don't really need to do any actual work for it aside from the initial startup fee when you are just grinding it out. Next up, Dragon Glass. Dragon Glass is one of the most underrated currencies in Call of Dragons because it gives you access to the Dragon Trail store. Now, from the Dragon Trail store, personally, I am only exclusively buying in this, even though it might not be the best thing. But in my opinion, I just want to awaken in this because I feel like she's going to be a fantastic support march once she's awakened. Now, yeah, it does take quite a long time in order to awaken her. I've been grinding out the Dragon Trail for 2.5 seasons so far, and I'm not even halfway to awakening her. So it's going to take a while for her. But if you don't care about Indus and you don't want to bother with her, then I would highly recommend you start picking up all those speed ups that show up because over time they're extremely cheap and you can accumulate a large amount of speed ups as long as you keep refreshing the store and get lucky with the speed ups and such. You can also get some epic hero tokens and then just exchange them at the Goblin Merchant for gold keys later on. Assuming you hit 150 currency, which is another strategy you can utilize in order to maximize your gains from the Dragon Trail store. But personally, for myself, I just buy in this because I do want to awaken her. Next up, Prestige. Now, prestige is one of the most important currencies in Call of Dragons. I would say it's second most important currency right after gems, because well, it is used for the prestige policies, which can drastically affect your gameplay and improve it miles ahead of anyone else if you are rushing the prestige tree properly, policy tree properly. Now, I am I don't have my policy tree maxed out because this is my second resurgence of the season. However, like in my opinion, the best thing you can do for your policies is to rush all the way to military expansion 3, finish it, finish military expansion 2, and finish military expansion 1. As soon as all three of them are done, I will go for hero XP, finish up both War Studies 1 and 2, and then finally I will go for the medical supplies, which affect your hospital capacities and your training and your healing capabilities every single day, and then just do whatever in the dragon in the policies. It doesn't matter anymore because by the time you get all those up, it's gonna force you to have everything else at level 7 or level 8 anyways. So you're gonna feel pretty close to finishing up everything. If you are entering a big war, I would recommend you finish up your barricades as well. It does cost only 80 gems to rush a few things, so I wouldn't hesitate rushing stuff such as military expansion 3 and military expansion through because they're so game changing and they expand your legion capacity by such a big amount that it is just worth the investment overall. Because not only does it affect your regular gameplay, it also affects your Dragon Trail combat. And the last thing here is the stars. The more stars you have, the more loot you accumulate. And of course, there's the rankings. You can flex your rankings if you're pushing the Dragon Prayer pretty well. Personally, I'm not that strong compared to the other top five here, as they're all full on T5 with almost everything maxed out, far more ahead of me. I don't have a full T5 march just yet. However, I did progress pretty well in the Dragon Trail. You can see here, this is the total loot accumulation phase that just keeps accumulating passively. You know, is my per hours for every single one. And then there is the quick loot. I tend to max out the quick loot every single day just because the sheer amount of the dragon glass that accumulates over time, and I did say that I want to max out in this. So this does help me. Plus it's only like 240 gems a day. It's not that much when you are buying dailies and buying a pack or two every single day, so you won't feel it at all. Plus a single monthly login pack is gonna offset that price anyways. So I think it's worth it, mainly for the extra XP, but I just do it for the Dragon class. I don't really care much about the XP right now because all my core commanders are already level 50 and they can't really progress further than that without actual PvP. Now, for the Dragon Trail strategies. Personally, we're going to use level 74 as an example. This is one I think I'm confident I can I got 3 star for the video. Hopefully I don't mess up. But personally, when I'm setting up myself, I see there are cavalry, there are infantry, and there are archers. So I'm going to position my infantry march at the very beginning using my Madeline Nika. This will be my tank march that just goes in and does also does some damage. I'm going to be using my cavalry march on the flank on the left side so they can circle around and start attacking either the mage march or the archer march. But personally, I prefer to take out the mage march first, and I'll explain why in a little bit. Next up here, I place my um, Mage March right over here with Lilia Velen, sorry. And then I'm gonna use um, my Archer Marches since I am in the Wilderberg faction, so I'm gonna be running 2 Archer Marches. Though this is up to you for the last march. You can go for a support march or you can go for an extra archer march. Before I switched to 2 archer marches, I had a husk in this with extra mages just so it could buff and debuff the enemies. It could buff my marches and debuff the enemies with the infirm debuff. But to each their own. Personally, I just like running the core 4 marches, and the fifth one will be up to you completely. But I do highly recommend going double archers if possible, because archers do the best DPS in the Dragon Trail. Next up, it is important to know how Dragon Trail AI works. The Dragon Trail AI always focuses on archers. It's gonna try to rush to your archers and then go for your mages and then finally your cavalry and your your infantry. So I'm gonna just position my infantry right here so it can intercept everything. As soon as everything starts getting intercepted, I'm gonna start using my archer marches to take out the mage march, and that is why I tend to focus out the mage march, because the mage march usually has the highest damage, and there are some hidden borders here in the dragon trail that will force you to start taking damage from it anyways. So I might as well just try to rush it and nuke it, because you wanna. Also, I did a mistake there when when trying to move my units, but you get the point. Uh, because you will start taking a lot of damage over time, and the Dragon Trail armies tend to be fully awakened commanders with full T5 marches and such, so you want to start nuking them as soon as possible in order to try to live as much as possible and have your tank march, which usually is your infantry march, take the sheer amount of damage inflicted from the Dragon Trail marches. Also, do note they don't use any artifacts, or they don't have any artifact stats, so you can always outstat them when you have proper artifacts. This is like for the basic combat. This is the strategy I've been using personally. I've found a lot of success with it. There are other strategies, I'm sure, but this is just my personal experience with the personal strategy that I use. I use my main infantry march to tank the sheer bulk of everything else, and then just try to nuke the squishiest march followed by the squishiest march. When there are 2 or 3 infantry left, I tend to pick the tankiest so I can save time and try to get the 3-star as fast as possible. Now, what do you do when you are stuck at a level of Dragon Trail? Because you will feel stuck. Right now, I am stuck at level 80 and I can't really beat it. So, what do you do when you are stuck at a level of Dragon Trail? The first thing you could do is try to work on your policies, because every single policy that increases your troop capacities will make a difference in your gameplay. And the second thing I would recommend is try to level up your commander's levels, especially in the early season, because the more levels you unlock, the better it will be. Plus, any commander that has damage to darklings or dark creatures will do better, because for some reason the marches, even regular marches in the Dragon Trail, are coded as Darklings or Dark Creatures, so any buff that directly impacts Darklings and Dark Creatures that you deal more damage to will be beneficial. That is why Lilia is one of the best commanders in the Dragon Trail, and that is why Madeline is really tanky, because she can take a lot of punishment from it. That is why commanders such as Bakshi is also really good, because he does have extra damage to Darklings and Dark Creatures, which in turn means more damage to the marches, which in turn guarantees your higher possibility of winning Dragon Trail. Now, for there are certain special stages that don't really have a certain AI or any pattern that they follow. So, personally, when I meet a stage such as this that are full of dark creatures, I tend to check out the skills of every single one, and I choose which skills I feel like are going to be the most annoying to deal with, and I try to nuke them and get rid of them as soon as possible so I can slowly whittle my way through. So, in stage such as level 80, there is no witch troll, the one that constantly heals, so I'm not gonna rush anything else. I'm gonna start by rushing the shield troll. The reason for that is because he has a charge up skill that kind of stuns everything, and then I'm gonna rush the hammer troll as well, because he also has a big charge up skill that just stuns everyone else around and stuns all my marches, which is this one. Might makes right. He just has a big charge up and then stuns everything for 3 seconds, which is pretty significantly big. That can waste you a lot of time, especially when you are time constrained, especially in 120 seconds, or defeat all enemies or uh, such. So we're gonna give this shot. Who knows? Maybe this will work. Do note also, if you have a rune active, any attack runes or any type of runes whatsoever that directly impacts attack or defense or HP, it's gonna work in the Dragon Trade, and so will the War Frenzy. Normally, the smarter thing would be, or just looking at it right from the outside, would be attacking the one that's constantly healing them. But I don't recommend that, because he's gonna take a while for you to kill, and you'll notice that your marchers are gonna keep getting CC'd by the hammer troll and the shield troll and the hammer troll. So you just might as well just get rid of them as soon as possible, and then start whittling your way through. I'm pretty sure I don't have enough DPS for it, because most of the Dragon Trail is a DPS check, but I just want to show you how it works. And there are no certain positioning that you can do for this, because they just tend to ignore everything and just go straight for your marches. You can try to stay clear of the ranges of everything, but again, with so many dark creatures and so many layers, you can see it's really hard to see what the real ranges are. So you might as well just try to brute force it, though I'm not doing it the most efficient way. Of course, I just haven't found a better way of doing stages such as this so far. See here, it's gonna keep stunning me. I'm taking a lot of AoE. I'm not gonna win this anyways. I just wanted to showcase it because I'm kind of stuck in this. I think once I have my full T5 marches, I'll be able to breeze through this. But you get the point, because a lot of these dark creatures tend to apply a lot of debuffs as well. So over time, you're really getting debuffed. You're not attacking in full force, and of course, they're getting healed, stunning you, etc., etc., etc. Um, I think that is everything for the Dragon Trail, everything that you need to know for you to succeed. If you like content like this, please be sure to drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Meow meow.